Hello and welcome to another Q&A here on StephenVlog, and I'm crossing my fingers right now. I don't know for certain, but I'm crossing my fingers that you are actually getting this in the month of March. As long as things go all right and I get a lot of stuff done, you should be at least getting this in the month of March, which is a breakthrough. Getting a Q&A the same month as the month
that it's supposed to be in.
Yes, that. So we're getting there. We're getting caught up and it feels good. Before I get started, lots of great questions. Holy crap. Like, we probably had enough to do 3 Q&As. There were so many good ones. So if yours wasn't answered, I'd urge you to ask it again. Just throwing it out there. Also, if you're not aware that we have a link down below that shows you all the questions that have been asked before. So if you have a question and you're like, what is this question? What's the answer? You can search that database.
And it might be in there.
It might already be in there. Just something to consider. All right. First question is from Tyrique Smith, and it says, Mao, any struggles in living with a giant like Stephen?
Struggles.
Yeah, what... Do you have any... It's
a struggle, you know, that you get things off top shelves for me.
Are there any struggles related to my height?
You've hit your head on things a lot.
True,
You've like almost knocked yourself out. You hit your head so hard once.
True, but that's like me. That's me. You know, that I grew up and had to deal with that. Is there anything that you've had to deal with because I've been big?
Your feet hang off the bed.
It's true. I tend to pull the covers out from the
corner.
Yeah, the bottom of the bed where that's tucked in, because when I get in bed, my feet I'm longer than the bed, so, you know, it tends to pull them out so that I can create a draft occasionally.
A lot.
Often. I also pull covers just anyway, but that has nothing to do with being tall.
You hit your head on when we're in cars, especially if the top is low.
Yeah, I mean, it can be a struggle for you, I guess, if I hit my head, because then you have to take care of me.
You tend to put things on higher shelves than I can reach.
That's a problem. Yeah, because I don't think about that. I mean, even after having lived together for many years, like, I don't think about that.
Like, there's like a medicine cabinet thing in our bathroom, and there's a roll of paper towel on top. For, like, you know, cleaning up whatever. And I can never reach them. And you can always reach them.
Yeah, like, on the one hand, the pro is that I can get stuff down for her, but on the other side, if I put something away, like, she can't get it. And if something was happening, I wouldn't be here, like, you wouldn't be able to get, or it would be a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any real other struggles. I mean, it's not really a downside for you.
No.
I mean, I have some issues, but at the end of the day, I think I prefer being tall. But I don't think there's any other struggles besides sometimes you're like, crap, there's a spice at the top of the cabinet that Stephen put there, and it doesn't go there, it goes down here.
I know downside for you.
Huh.
You always walk into spider webs.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot. Especially now that we're getting into
the warmer months.
The warmer months, so the spiders are coming out. And whenever we get home, it doesn't matter if I go first or not, because they're just up here.
Or above me.
And then I run into them. So that's a bit of a problem. But otherwise, I don't think there's any really big struggles living with a tall person. There might be something glaring that I'm forgetting, but maybe they'll remind us. The next question is from DevVlogs. Stephen, what started your aquaphobia? And DevVlogs actually wrote hydrophobia, but I've been corrected by people in the past that it's actually aquaphobia. Hydrophobia is something, I think it's something different. Aquaphobia is the irrational fear of water, for like swimming or drowning or whatever. I'm just going to hit on this briefly because I'm pretty sure I've talked about it in the past, maybe not super in-depth on a Q&A, but I do have some level of aquaphobia. I don't like water. I know how to swim, sort of.
Kind of.
I mean, like, I feel like if something happened and I was put in a position where I needed to swim, like, I could swim. I know enough to swim. But I don't know. I do have an irrational fear of water, and it follows me even into like video games and stuff. It's weird, but like if I'm playing a video game where I'm underwater, it freaks me out and things like that. It's not super high levels, because if you have like super high level of aquaphobia, like you can't take like a bath. You're like, nope. You know, it's not that bad. It's just
if it's over your head.
Yeah, that's the thing for me. Like, I'll get into a pool up to 6 feet, but I don't go into the 8-foot end or anything deeper than that. Like, that legitimately freaks me out. If anyone like like when I was a kid, people like to roughhouse in pools. No. If I saw people doing that, I would get out and like not get, because like the fact that people would like dunk you and junk. No, God. But how I developed that was whenever I was a kid, I took swimming lessons, and there was 2 instructors. There was a very nice old lady named Beverly who worked with me and taught me how to swim, and then there was she was like the personal instructor type thing. Then there was like a head instructor like overseeing a bunch of different stuff, and I had to like, to pass the class or whatever, I had to do that for her.
Yeah.
And I remember, I don't know what it was, maybe they were just trying to make sure you could hold your breath for a certain amount of time or whatever, but I remember she held me underwater, and like I can pinpoint the moment where I was like, nope, done with this, because it's a panicking feeling like I'm going to die. It's terrible. But I was young. I was probably 5, and that's where
I'm sorry.
that. Yeah. And the thing is, it's followed me forever. It's been over 20 years, and I still, like, if I'm in control and I'm the only one in a pool, and I'm in like, the 6 foot end, I can go under the water because I feel like I'm in control.
Yeah.
But like, I don't want to be in any deeper water, and I don't want anyone holding me under. That's when it's not okay.
See, I was in swim lessons forever. My dad was on swim team in high school, so it was a thing, like, the girls need to have swim lessons.
Yeah.
And we have video, I think, of Carly as a baby in the pool with my parents.
I mean, I feel bad because my mom wanted me to have swimming lessons, and like, I got them. It's just I also got a lifelong debilitating fear of water in the process. So
I'm really comfortable in the water.
I mean, I'm not against water,
I'm scared of the things in the water, especially here along the Atlantic Ocean. These things.
Giant hands? Yeah, I mean, sharks, jellyfish,
man of war.
Yeah, I mean, we have all
stingrays.
sorts of terrible things. That's another reason that I'm like, why get in the water
alligators.
at all? Anyway, hopefully that answers the question. That's a little
insight into
the psyche of Stephen George. Next question is from Matt McCracken, and Matt asks, "Will MalMakes be strictly painting?" Why don't you answer this?
For now.
For now, but
it's a space thing, like how much room we have. But
yeah, but I was gonna hit on the fact that we chose your channel name for a specific reason.
Yeah, we did.
It's called MalMakes.
Not MalPaints.
It's not called MalPaints. And we did that, and we kept it very general for the purpose of allowing Mal to branch out. So people have asked, even Matt asked in his full comment, like, maybe sewing or craft or cooking or whatever, and that's all a possibility, and that's all stuff that I think eventually you'll see on the channel. Right now, Mal is sticking strictly to painting, but in the future, you might see her do cooking or some other sorts of craft or sculpture. There's a lot of possibilities.
Maybe I'll go do a plein air drawing on the beach.
Yeah.
I've wanted to do that.
Undercover graffiti? Okay, well, it wouldn't be undercover, I guess. MalMakes graffiti. Who did this? I don't know.
Be like the opposite of Banksy.
Yes, you would not be a good Banksy. Next question is from Natsu Dragneel. Do you think you will get a new car in the near future? Well, new being
new to us.
New to us, not a new car. I don't think I would ever buy a new car just because
you don't think so?
Well, they depreciate the minute you drive off the lot. You can get a used car for a lot cheaper.
And we could lease a new car.
Anyway, the question at hand is, do you think we'll get a new car? I think I hope we never do. How about that? That's a good answer. I hope that our car miraculously lives forever, and that would be fantastic. Because
It's not.
But it's not, and I mean,
And it's not doing so great.
every year I'm like, yeah, you okay? I mean, anyone that's watched the vlog will know that there's been more than one occasion where the car has stopped working.
Yeah.
Like we have been driving. It happened to us in Knoxville. Mm-hmm. Remember that?
Yeah.
We're driving in through Knoxville, and then we had stopped somewhere. And we went to turn the car back on, and it was like, no. We're like, please, no. And then we had to go to one of your doctor's appointments or something,
Yeah.
and it was like an hour away from home.
Uh-huh.
Tried to turn on the car. No, sorry, nope, dead. So there's some problems, and
The radio,
yeah, the radio's screwed up too. But
I'm sure the roof is like pretty rusted.
yeah, the car holds water. After a rain, you can drive, and when you hit the brakes, you hear it sloshing in the roof, and that's not good. So like, there's problems, but otherwise the car continues to run, and I will drive that car into the stinking ground. It's at 165,000 miles, and I think that we'll definitely get 200 out of it, and once we get to 200, then it's just kind of crossing my fingers, being like 250. I don't want to replace it. First off, it's a good car, and I like it, but also, I mean, cars cost money.
I want a new car.
I know.
When you sit there with the radio for 5 minutes trying to get the volume to go anything other than the way you want.
Yeah, the biggest problem is that the volume dial in the car.
You turn it up, it goes down. You turn it down, it goes up. But it's not consistent.
Yeah,
Ever.
It basically does whatever it wants. So you basically just turn it in either direction. Doesn't matter. It's up to you. You just turn it, and then eventually, when
You go back and forth a bit.
I mean, you just keep turning it, and eventually it gets to the volume that you want. It could
Sometimes
take.
it doesn't.
It takes an undisclosed amount of time, and the problem is a lot of times it's like, oh, the volume is slightly too loud. Turn down, straight to the end. The car's like, blah, 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 and you're just like doing it as,
Come on, please turn down.
I mean, you're doing it as fast as you can, and it might start to come down and go back up, and then it'll be like down to the end, and you're like, I don't know what's going on. So yeah, it's screwed up, but that's okay. It adds character. We do need a new vehicle at some point, but once again, they're expensive. We got all sorts of fingers crossed that we can figure out maybe something with like a house, maybe, possibly this year. This is like our last ditch effort, but like, I mean, then you need money for like a down payment, and then you can't even think about car stuff. So there's a lot going on, and to answer your question, a new car would be nice one day, probably within the next 2 to 3 years. We're gonna have to get something else, but I don't want to if I can help it. Next question is from DaMotSov. Do you ever cancel something on StephenPlays after it's been recorded? So basically, do we ever record something for the channel and then decide not to release it for whatever reason? Yes.
I don't know. Do you? What was it?
I mean, have you ever been a part of anything that we've canceled?
No.
The only thing I can remember that you were a part of is we had planned to do a Let's Play of Vex.
That's the one.
Of Vex Minecraft Super Hostile.
Mm-hmm. Super hostile.
We were like, yeah, we're gonna do this Let's Play, and then we started recording it, and we're like, no, my God, nope, no. So we had to stop that. But that never actually came out. We've never canceled a project that had already started. That's never happened. We've released almost 3,000 videos on StephenPlays, and none of them have ever been like a series that we started and then said, actually, we're not going to finish this. So we're consistent there. There have been some occasions, and I think even
they mentioned First 20.
They mentioned First 20, and that is an example I can confirm. There have been times where I've recorded a First 20 and then did not release it. One of the most notable examples I can remember, it's not very often, it's very rare, but one of the most notable examples is that I recorded they made a Magic the Gathering game for the original PlayStation, and I can't remember what it's called, but they made a Magic the Gathering game for the PlayStation, and I was like, oh, that'd be really cool to do. I should do that. So I got a hold of the game, and I, got everything set up and started doing the First 20. It was so boring. I mean, I did everything in my power to make that entertaining, but there was just no saving that game. I mean, the first 20 minutes were so boring. I think I got 12 minutes in, and I was like, this is the worst game I've ever played. Oh my god, this is so bad. Because it was just... I can't even describe how bad, and it was just boring. It was just really boring. Even I did everything I could, and there was no saving it, so immediately I just stopped. I was like, nope, not doing this. And then I ended up doing like a different game. So yeah, I mean, there's, for the record, if you ever get a chance, try that game. It's not good.
Or don't try it.
Yeah, or maybe it's actually fun, but like it was super confusing, and it was very lore heavy, and it didn't make any sense, and it was just not fun. So I didn't play it. But to answer your question, yeah, occasionally that happens. It's pretty rare. Generally, if we're going to sit down and actually do something, it's going to get posted, because every minute matters in this apartment. I mean, whenever we're working on stuff, it matters, and it's super frustrating to get 12 minutes into a first 20 and be like, this isn't going to work. Like that's a big beat down. Next question is from Lydvee, who asks, Mal, what style of dance did you do?
Actually, I thought it would be really cool to pull out my shoes.
Oh. Do you have them, like, easily accessible?
I do.
Okay, well then get them.
Okay.
So first off, for anyone who's watching and didn't even know that you danced.
I danced.
You danced.
Throughout high school, and then I tried to do a bit in college, but I really just didn't have time. So.
Okay. And what did you dance?
A few things.
I'll let you explain.
These are my ballet flats, like the slippers. Mm-hmm. And I used these like for warm up, or I also like was a student teacher, so I helped out the little kid classes, and so I would wear these instead of like the point shoes, because you know they were kids.
They still have the price tag in them?
Yeah, I never took it out.
Okay.
Here's one of my jazz shoes, and the only jazz class I really had besides the first year I took dance was I got into like our troupe, like our performing troupe, where we did performances and like competitions. So this is my jazz shoe.
I have a funny feeling that none of these would fit me.
Yeah, there's the other ballet flat. I got a handful of...
Yeah, that's not gonna work. I tried, Mal.
I have these, and they kind of look like Irish shoes, but they were for lyrical, kind of like a contemporary modern, and they laced up crazy long.
Yeah, they did. Wow. Don't let the cat see these. They will lose their minds. Oh, looky here. Look. Hi. Yes. You see nothing. Nothing. Go back.
And I had two different styles of these, like, soleless shoes that were just, like, covering the balls of your foot. So that was one pair. And then I got these ones, which I really liked.
I don't think this counts as a shoe, Mal.
Yeah, it does.
I think this is just a really complicated eye patch.
And then the year I stopped, or like I graduated.
Arr, yep.
Then we went to ones that they called foot undies.
Foot undies?
Yeah. Here's my other jazz shoe. And that leaves the last set. So I did points for a couple years. Where's my other point shoe? Why am I missing a point shoe? I got 2 and then 1.
Now it's 3.
3 point shoes.
3 point shoes.
This is my first pair.
Okay.
They're pretty tough.
They smell.
Yeah, they do?
I mean,
they smell like baby powder to me.
Something smells. I don't know exactly what it is, but
and
wow.
Here's one of my other point shoes.
Huh. 3.5?
Yep.
Is this one older?
No, that's actually... See how nice it is compared, like, color-wise?
Wait, did your feet get smaller?
Oh, it's a different brand.
Oh. Okay.
These were Grishko's and those were Block.
Oh, okay. It's because I saw this was 4.5 and then this one's 3.5.
I really hated these because the shank didn't really bend. But those were pre-arched, like...
Tiny foot.
And so I could stand a lot better in these. Yeah, they're tiny.
So, to answer the question...
I did ballet.
You did ballet,
lyrical
point,
were kind
lyrical.
of my main ones.
But you also did jazz.
I did a little bit of jazz. And when I did my teaching, when I helped out the little classes, I had ballet, jazz, and hip-hop.
And how many years did you dance? 4?
4, I think. Carly danced a lot longer, but she was put in dance classes when I started taking clarinet because my mom wanted her to have something to do.
That's cool. And now I have like all these shoes on my lap.
Oh, and in case anyone does point and is curious to answer this question preemptively, I had the gel toe things for my point shoes.
I don't know what that means.
They go inside.
So you don't like break your toes?
I mean, you don't stand on your toes ever. You stand on your arches, like on the arch of your foot. So you don't have a whole lot of pressure on your toe, but it's like to help with like impacted toenails and stuff.
No thanks. I will pass on all that stuff. Yeah. Anyway, that's Mal danced. It was funny because the person who wrote the question said, you know, they never even heard that you had danced, and I guess we actually have not talked about it much.
It was before you and I dated.
I know, but like on the vlog or anything, or on the Q&A, I don't think we actually have mentioned that much. So yeah, Mal danced.
I think the last time I ever did anything was when I was at Stout.
Yeah.
Because there was dance ensemble.
Yeah.
And I started taking dance ensemble. Do you remember belly dancing? When I did that?
Yes.
For like a week, and then they were like, "All right, you need to pay us," and I was like, "Oh, this you have to pay for this," and then I stopped.
You've been around the block a time or two. Around the dance block, right?
Floor.
Dance. Never mind. Next question is from Darbicus1. Is there anything that you didn't do in high school or college that, looking back, you wish you had done?
I wish I would have studied abroad.
My answer to the question is no. Nope. You wanted to study abroad? Where'd you want to go?
I almost went to Poland, and then I switched schools. And then I'm kind of in between all of that, met you and was like, I want to talk to Stephen. I don't want to go abroad, or I can't talk to Stephen very much.
That actually happened to me. Through SCAD, you can go to France?
France, Hong Kong.
No. I know they have a thing in Hong Kong, but that's not part of it. You can go to Lacoste, France, maybe is where it is.
Sounds
I don't know.
familiar.
SCAD students tell me. I don't remember. But you can go to France for a quarter, and it's no additional cost.
Really? Ours was like 3 times as much.
No, I think the way it worked, I might have to be reminded of this, but at least when I was there, I'm pretty sure the way it worked is that you could go take a quarter in France, and it was no additional cost. It was just something that you could do as a SCAD student. And I didn't want to do it. I mean, I think some of that I think had to do with the fact that we were dating early on, and I was like, no, I just want to talk to you.
Yeah.
But also, I think even if we wouldn't have been dating, I don't think I would have went anyway, because all of the some people really adapt to college, and they, you know, they make friends with everyone and all that stuff, and that's not the way it worked for me. I was friends with like 3 people or 4 people or whatever. You know, so I was friends with just a handful of people, and the idea of leaving them for 10 weeks seemed dreadful. Like, to have to go and live somewhere with God knows who and like not be with those people that I knew, it wouldn't have worked. And like they can also go, but you can only go when they're offering the classes that you wanted to take anyway. So I don't think we all could have went anyway, unless we took electives or something, but it just never interested me. I was like, nah.
A lot of people I knew went, and I wanted to go. And now seeing Carly, like her experience, and my cousin Lauren's actually in London right now studying abroad. I'm like, oh, I wish I would have done it.
Yeah, I don't.
Wish I would have.
I don't. I mean, especially now that like
we've traveled.
We travel a lot.
It's not the same as living there for a semester.
I'd rather travel than live there, I think. I mean, I'm sure that other people feel differently, and that's fine. That's their opinion. But I would rather just go to a place for a week, see it, take it in, instead of like living there. But now we travel, so now we get to see things, and it's okay. Yeah. Otherwise, no. I did everything in high school and college I feel like I wanted to do.
I wish I would have tried harder when I started at college.
I don't.
Because I wasn't super serious about it, like, freshman year. And I was just like, oh, this is so easy. It's easier than, high school, and I don't have to go to class, for the whole day.
I mean, I feel like I was the opposite. I feel like I tried really hard at the beginning, and well, it's a little different because when you're dealing with art, I mean, college just in general, I think that the professors are different than high school. It's not like you do this, you get A. I mean, a lot of stuff in all fields in college are more subjective with the grading, but especially in art. And it was a little jarring because in high school I did really well. And then whenever I went to college, I was still doing well, but not as well as I had done. But I did as good as I could, because it was art. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like I could pass a test. It was like I had to make a thing. So I would make a thing, and they'd be like, "That was pretty good." No, B. I'd be like, "Well, why didn't I get an A? Why did the girl with the tight pants get an A?" I know. I forget that guy's name. I know. The guy who lived in a frickin' tree for 3 years. Not a joke. That happened. Dan's watching this, and Dan's laughing his butt off. He's like, I know what you mean.
My ceramics course, we had a hand-built pottery, a hand-built sculpture, and then, like, a bunch of wheel-thrown pieces. Mm-hmm. And then we never were given grades throughout the year. For our final, we had to bring everything in, set it all out on a table at our appointed time, and he went, B, A, and D. So you're going to average about a B. That's how he graded me. And everything else, like my painting class, like all of my paintings, before what you guys have seen on MalMakes, my painting class in college, terrible, all of them. The only one I sort of like is the one we have in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got an A in that class. I think I really sucked up to the professor because he would read us poetry. Like, he'd be like, all right, class, we're going to start class today with a poem. And then he would read us a poem. And then he would talk about how it related to art. He was one of those people. And at one point he read a poem by an artist I really liked, or a poet I really liked. And I was like, oh, have you ever read this poem by this guy? And he goes, oh no. I was like, it's one of my favorites of all time. And so we went and read that, and then we had a long conversation once on that poet. And I think that's the only reason he liked me. I mean, I was a terrible painter in college.
Well, I think that also is true. Like, you should talk to professors and stuff. I don't think there's a single professor at SCAD who knows who I am. Not one. I don't think almost any of them knew who I was when I was there, and they sure as heck don't know who I am now. I could go up to any professor I had and say, "Hey, remember me?" And they'd be like, "Who are you?" That was the impression I left on people, on my professors in college, because I don't know. I just did my thing. A lot of my time spent in college was worrying less about that stuff and then coming home and working on, like, YouTube stuff. So yeah, I guess it worked out. Anyway, we spent a lot of time on that question. In fact, answering a lot of stuff that wasn't related to the question. But I think we did okay. We'll speed it up for the end of this thing. The Casual Gamer asks, who is better at math? Or maths, depending on what part of the world you live in.
I think you're better at easy in your head math, like quick addition, quick subtraction, quick multiplication.
All of it.
You're really good at that. Like, we were in the store the other day, and I'm like, I have a gift card for this much. How much do I have? And you were like, this much. You can get one more thing.
I'm really curious to find out what math you're better at me then, because I don't know what you're going to say.
I'm better at figuring out, like, geometry for building things.
Okay, yeah.
Like, spatially.
Okay, give me an example.
Like,
yeah, I'm tempted to just flat out agree with you, but
like, if we were building something, I'd be able to figure out, like, how much wood we needed, or, like, what angle this had to go together with this other thing.
Probably. Yeah, I'll give it to you, just because I sucked at geometry.
I love geometry.
I was really bad at geometry, but I had a professor I didn't like, high school teacher I didn't like. But I also, like, when you say math, like, I don't even think of shapes. Like, all the higher level math doesn't even come into my head. That doesn't...
Like, all, like, the figuring out the area of a circle, or the circumference, or the diameter, or the height of whatever.
I took pre-algebra, algebra 1, algebra 2, and did terrible in all of them. Still to this day have no idea anything about that stuff. Nothing.
Oh, I did great in those.
Did terrible. I had no idea what I was doing the entire time. 3 years, I had no idea what was going on. Geometry, I did terrible at, and then that was all the higher level math I took.
Oh.
That was it. That was it. I didn't take physics. I didn't take calculus. I didn't take
Physics is science.
Yeah, but there's math involved.
Yeah, it's a science math.
Is it a science class?
Yeah.
Okay, well I didn't take that.
Like Carly's a physics teacher.
That makes more sense, I guess. I didn't take calculus. What's the other one? There's another one, isn't there?
Differential equations.
Oh, trigonometry. I didn't take.
It's below calc.
Okay, well, I don't know.
See,
like I know anything about that.
Me, who still doesn't know her multiplication tables.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Like, it's bizarre because now that we're done, and I'm not saying this so I can tell anyone who's out there doing high school math right now, I'd be like, just slack off, you don't need that. But like, you don't need it. Because when you're done with school, you don't use that crap. You don't use...
You decide what you use.
You don't use that crap. The things that you will need in life are the things that I'm good at.
I use geometry and algebra a lot.
I don't even know what algebra is, so that's probably
Solving
why I
for
don't...
X.
I always said when I was in class, I said whenever they brought numbers into
letters into the numbers.
Yeah, when they brought letters into the numbers, I said that's when I was gone. I never came back from that. And it was 4 years, and I still had no idea what was going on.
See, I was put into honors math in middle school.
So you knew what was up.
I got put in the fun math class called applications, which may make it seem like it's like the low-level math class, but it was all project-based, and it was really cool. Like, we had to keep stocks, and we were given like fake amounts of money, and we had to like invest it into these stocks and keep track of them and like the percent change and all this. We were given a budget, and we did like a popsicle or a toothpick bridge. Mm-hmm. And I came in second, but only because the other group came in under budget by like $5. Mine held 2 gallons of water.
I mean, my point is, and once again, I'm not trying to say that you should ignore math, but if you are struggling with high school math, like if you are like me and they brought in the letters and you're like, what is going on? Just hold on for dear life until you get out of that mess, and I promise you it will not matter in the end. Because
unless you have to take it in college.
Yeah, I lucked out. Because you end up not using it. I mean, I'm sure that there are plenty of careers or majors or whatever that you do, but not mine and not my life. And I think for the lives of most people, you don't. But what you do need is you do need to be able to do quick math. And I know how to do that. Mal, what's 9 times 3?
18. 27. I had to do the finger trick. You guys know the finger trick? I learned that like in the last 2 years, and I was blown away.
Now, what's 6 times 8? How about 12 times 10?
120.
Ah, you got the tens down,
Yeah,
right?
I do.
So that's what I deal with all the time. Is Mal apparently knows this other math, this geometry, which never comes up.
It does for me a lot.
Okay, well, it comes up for you. What does it come up for you? It just
Like
didn't...
when I'm doing stuff at work and like figuring out how big papers need to be, or I'm cutting out a triangle and it needs to be equilateral, so each angle is 60 degrees, and if I want one length to be this long, what angle, using a protractor and stuff.
I don't know what half the things you just
So
said were.
You're doing like the quick math quick, and then I'm doing like the stuff above that, and then Carly's like on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Carly doing her like differential equations.
I'm just saying, quick basic math, very important.
It's important.
Mal does not know her multiplication tables. None. None of them. I mean, like the tens.
And the 2s. And some of the 3s. Half the 3s.
Being able to do quick addition, quick subtraction, that kind of stuff is like really beneficial. And that's what I think people should focus on. Although at the end of the day, I mean, you're not going to...
I get by fine. I have you.
Yeah. I mean, she gets by fine, I get by fine. So does it really matter? No. Everywhere you go, you got a calculator in your pocket. They
said we never would.
Those idiots. Those stupid idiots. You now have a smartphone with you, so you have even you turn the phone sideways and it becomes like a full scientific calculator.
There's even apps that are basically graphing calculators.
Yeah, like.
Because my students all have them.
So the real answer is, don't worry about any math. You'll be fine, because you can always ask Siri. I like how a second ago we were getting into this question, and
how you
like,
need to know something.
Well, I said, well, we'll just go through it real quick, and we spent like 7 minutes answering that question. All right, it's a long one. Whatever. You guys like long Q&As. Next question is from PinkXxKiss Mao. Would you tell us more about your anxiety? What's it like for you? And any coping strategies? So if anyone missed last Q&A, I think last Q&A was the first time we ever like revealed that you have anxiety. Actually, one of the comments was interesting. They said anyone that's watched Resident Evil 5 Let's Play will know you had anxiety because you could not handle some of the levels in that game. You were like, can't do it.
There's been parts in The Walking Dead I can't handle.
You've been doing very good.
Thanks.
So talk about that.
Well, it's worse if I haven't like had adequate sleep. Like if I'm sleep deprived, it's really bad. If something big is coming up, it's bad. Like something that's stressing me out crazy that I'm worrying about.
What is it exactly? Because I don't experience anxiety. A lot of people may not experience anxiety. Describe exactly what it is that comes over you that you feel.
I just feel like I worry about everything, even like stupid things.
So there will be like something that like triggers it?
Yes.
And then whenever that happens, is it just like the world is kind of falling apart type thing?
And sometimes like I'll just start feeling anxious and I don't know why. Mm-hmm. And I'll have to think back like, okay, well, what was it that, and it'll be like this overwhelming like dread, fear. And I'm like, where did this come from? And it takes me a while sometimes to figure it out. And it may be something stupid that I said and I'll be like, oh, you know, how did they take it? I wanted to be nice. I didn't want to come across mean. And I'll just worry for no reason. And I'm like, I can't believe I said that. And it'll obsess with my thoughts all day.
I mean, I'll let you talk about your coping strategies, but one of your coping strategies is me.
Yeah.
I think having someone in your life who is kind of the opposite. I don't deal with anxiety really at all. I have no anxiety and no shame. So whenever you have these issues, a lot of times it helps if we just talk about them. So if Mal's having an issue, and I mean, you can tell if she's anxious. Like you tell, like, hey, what's going on?
I tend to mess with my hands.
Yeah, she'll, pull her the hangnails and stuff like that. I say, what do you mess with your fingers for? But if we talk about it, we usually get to the root of the problem, because sometimes it'll be something like she said, like
it's something dumb, and I know it's dumb, but I can't stop worrying about it.
Yeah, but you need someone to talk to you about it and work through it rationally.
Yeah.
And I think that's always helped. So anytime, like if Mal, she said something to a coworker or something, and it was not a problem at all, and then later she thinks about that and she says, oh, I said this to someone, and I think, they took it in jest, but what if they didn't, and all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, let's back up. What did you say? Okay, this is what you said. Let's think about that. Okay, they probably, what was their reaction? Oh, well, they laughed and smiled. Okay, well, then it's probably fine. So we have to do that kind of thing a lot, actually. Yeah. I mean, it's not like a daily occurrence that anxiety takes over Mal or something, but I'd say it's a weekly occurrence. And it's not that you have like, I've never seen any kind of like complete breakdown type thing. I don't think you've ever had like the world is ending, everything is done, but you do have these little mini episodes, certainly, that we basically just got to talk it out. Mm-hmm. And I think that helps. Now, assuming I'm not there, because I know I like to talk to you about these things, but if you're out on your own or whatever and you have these feelings, how is it that you deal with them?
I try to just breathe and like get through it until I can get to you. One of the things I did in college is I would wear like a rubber band or a hair tie on my wrist. And I had read this somewhere, and like if I was worrying, I would just snap it really hard on my wrist and just tell myself stop. And like that physical just like tap would help.
Okay.
Like, if I caught myself picking at my fingers, I would snap and be like, stop doing that. Your hands will not look nice.
Yeah, I know that there was actually a lot of comments on this Q&A that asked the same question. We picked up this specific one, but there were several that was like, we didn't know that Mal had anxiety. Please tell us about that. So I think it's nice to actually talk about that, because there's a lot of people that they may feel kind of alone in that, with it, and it's nice to have someone else to look to and say, okay, this person also has anxiety, and they also have to deal with stuff like that.
I tried medicine once, and some people it works great, and I know there's like a million and you need to keep trying, but I tried it once. I had a really bad reaction to it, and I only took like one pill, and I couldn't deal with it, like what it did to me. Like, I was real sick. I was like, no, I'm just gonna deal with this without medicine.
But I also think that realistically you don't need medicine. I'm not saying everyone, I'm saying you specifically. And I'm not Mal, so I can't speak for her, but from the outside looking in, and from being the person that spends more time with you than anyone else, I don't think it's that bad. I think your anxiety is manageable, completely manageable. It's one of those things that it's, when it comes up, we deal with it. And the way I've always handled it is we talk through everything rationally. And you'd be surprised the stuff that comes up. Like, a lot of times Mal will pull something from her past.
Like,
completely,
middle school.
Like, we'll be laying in bed about to fall asleep, and Mal will say, I said something to someone like 5 years ago. And I'm like, what? She's like, I think I upset them. And I'm like, when was the last time you talked to them? And it's like, well, like 4 years ago. I'm like, it's okay. It's all right. I promise you they don't remember. So, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you do all right.
You help me.
Well, I feel like I should. And also I want to, because, I mean, you're my best friend. So I gotta, do what I can. And I don't experience those feelings. I don't have... there are times I feel anxious because that is something that people feel, but I do not have anxiety, not in any way, shape, or form. There's occasions where I feel those emotions because of something coming up or something I have to do, but mostly it just manifests as stress. It's like, oh God, I have 6 videos I have to release, that kind of thing. Anyway, once again, I was like, we'll speed up the end of this video. That was a lie. This is a long one. The last question on this Q&A is from Lorraine Ford, who asks, is there going to be another long road trip? And if so, where to? Is there going to be another road trip?
There's a few I'd like to do.
There's only one I know of.
Well, yeah, that's the main one. That's like what I want to do first.
Okay. What we want to do, and I don't know when this is happening, not this year, unless crazy stuff happens, but probably not this year, is we would like to do a East Coast road trip. We would like to drive from our location in South Carolina and drive up to Maine, stopping along the way in DC and New York City.
And then Maine.
And then obviously Maine.
I have family there.
She has family there. But I've been to DC like 3 times, loved it. She's never been. She has to go.
To the Smithsonian.
We've got to get her to the museums. They're so much fun. And also, I've never been without another group. I've never been on my own, so I would love to just take my time. Because when you're with a group, it's like, we got to hit these museums. And I don't want to do that. I want to be like, oh, I'm here. I'm still enjoying myself. I don't have to leave, that kind of thing. So we'll go to DC, and then neither of us have been to New York City. So I'd like to see that, and then basically drive up the coast and then come back down.
Maybe when we come down, we could because we want to maybe see every state someday, even if it's just driving through it.
Yeah.
So we'll probably go up straight to the coast and then come back and hit a couple of the inland ones that we would have missed.
Yeah, something like that. So that is the next big road trip. I don't know when that's happening. It's probably not happening this year because there's some other stuff happening you'll know about soon. But maybe next year. Maybe it seems like a likely possibility. What are the other things you want to do?
I'd like to go.
I know that you eventually want to go up and see like the Dakotas.
Yeah, and Montana. That's one of them.
That's a long road trip. That's we're
Because
going
when are we gonna
the
see
distance.
when are we gonna see those states?
I don't know.
And then I would maybe someday like to drive like from Seattle down to LA. Like hit up like that West Coast Highway 1, go through Portland,
okay.
Oregon,
Yeah.
hit up San Fran,
Yeah.
take you through the redwoods.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's all stuff I'd like to do. East Coast is the one that seems
More plausible
more
and
plausible.
high,
I mean,
high on the
we're
list.
starting on the East Coast, so it's just. Bloop, bloop.
Yeah.
Well, it's not. Bloop, bloop, it's more like.
I wouldn't mind going up into Canada. Like Brunswick and then Prince Edward Island and coming back.
Okay, stop.
I really liked Anne of Green Gables as a kid.
There's too many things. There's too many things. We'll figure all that stuff out
Yeah.
next year, probably. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching this Q&A. If you have a question of your own that you would like to ask, you can ask it in the comments below. Keep in mind there is a previously asked questions link in the description, so you can check that out. Maybe we've already answered your question. This one was a long one, but hopefully it was a good one. And if it was a good one, tell us this was a good one, or some variation of that. We know that people enjoy these Q&As because, you know, there's usually lots of likes and lots of views, and there's a lot of comments. People are anxious to see another question answered. But it's nice to get feedback on Q&As. We don't get a lot of feedback,
Yeah.
I think. Sometimes we'll get feedback on specific questions. You know, people will say, you know, yeah, I agree with what you said, or whatever.
How do you feel about our matching shirts last Q&A and this Q&A?
That was not intentional.
No, it wasn't.
But yeah, if you like the Q&A, be like, yeah, that was a good Q&A. Because we read all this stuff, so it makes us feel good. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next month, which, fingers crossed, will be less than a month. And we're getting caught up, and hopefully we'll stay that way. Thanks for watching. See you next time for another Q&A.